Welcome, everybody. We're going to be doing a live Q&A for about an hour. We'll see who comes through, who comes in, and I'll be sharing the stream. So give me just a moment. All right. A few more places to share, and I'll be coming through with you guys. Happy 366. We are just a day away from 669. How's everyone feeling? And we'll share it one more. Yes, I am. How do I do that? Okay. Yes. All right. So I'll be checking in the YouTube chat. There we go. And just have a picture there. Again, we are just about ready. I'm ready. So I wanted to come through, do a little live Q&A for anybody that comes in, anybody that might have something to ask or something to share. And if not, I do have a couple of things that I do want to answer, maybe dive a little bit deeper into. And so we'll just go with the flow. I shared like 30 minutes ago that I was going to come through, and I did put the minutes. So I am a little bit, took me a little bit later, or took me a little bit more time. Something came up actually, something a little unexpected. And we just go with the flow. We really, this is like the whole premise of this, of what's happening, of what we are feeling, what we're experiencing right now. Change is going to continue to be a big factor in our realities. Okay. We're used to change. We're used to resisting change. All of our lives, it's been this conscious, unconscious, and subconscious fight with change. We can no longer do that anymore. We have to continually open up and embrace everything that's changing, because absolutely everything is going to change. Okay. Our mind doesn't get that. Our mind just thinks, oh, everything means one thing. When everything means every single part of you is changing. Every single part of your reality is changing. Every single aspect of your world right now is continually changing. Okay. Some things were seen, some things are still brewing underneath the surface, but all in all, everything is changing. So, welcome in, welcome all. If you would like to say hi, you're more than welcome to say hi. If you have something to share, if you have a question, I will be here for about an hour. So we'll play with whatever comes through. We'll see what unfolds. Welcome everybody. How is everyone doing? How is everyone feeling? What have you guys been noticing? What's been something that's been coming through for you? Maybe something we can go into the magical, the beautiful, the exquisiteness of everything, of this newness. And we can also go through kind of the trials, right? Kind of the more challenging stuff. Hi, Lisa. Welcome. So beautiful to see you. Thanks for being here. So we can go both ways. We can go into polar opposites, which, by the way, it's going to be super, super normal. Okay. We will feel the expansionness, the expansiveness. We will feel the bliss. We will feel the beauty. We will feel the softness. Okay. And then we'll go into the complete opposite spectrum of this and go into the deep end, the roller coaster of emotions. We will go into the deep, deep darkness. We will go into the depth of the emotions, the emotional heaviness, the deep grief, the sadness, the anger, right? And then we'll come back into the space of beauty and magic. Like, allow yourself and remind yourself that this is so normal. Going like bipolar, going into complete oppositeness, opposite directions. Oh, you're so welcome. So welcome. Thank you so much for being open to all of this. All of this and all of you and everything that you're going through and everything that I share. Right now, I'm feeling it too. You guys are definitely not alone. There's been a lot to feel. There's been a lot that's been opened up. There's been a lot of changes. I just went into I was out. I went to the States for almost the entire month of May. And it was beautiful and it was magical, but at the same time, it was devastating. So this is where the bittersweetness. I had mentioned this like a month ago or so, and then someone else mentioned the bittersweet, and then someone else mentioned it, and I'm like, okay, this is a collective theme. Feeling a lot this week, yes. Emotions are high. The emotional energy is it's increasing. You're not alone. But in order to come back to the jovial, in order to come back to more joy, and in order to anchor more peace, the body will continuously need to feel all of these things, feel deeper levels, feel more consciously, feel more openly, right? All of these different things really come into play because we keep it simple sometimes, or a lot of the times, we just say feel, right? Feel this. But there's a lot to feeling. We're feeling a lot of things, so we have to feel more consciously. We have to feel more openly. We have to feel with the whole body. Our whole body has to be able to feel this. And this was maybe a few days ago. I was deep, deep, deep in a very emotional space, just crying my eyes out, crying my heart out. And there's a moment where I told my body, you need to feel this more. You need to feel this deeper. And it was literally like my body opened up a little more. I gave myself this permission slip. My body took the permission slip and just opened up. And so there was a little bit more that I needed to feel, a little bit more tears came through, but maybe within a few minutes, it was like, boom, it shifted completely, very fast. And this is something to really just open up to because the linear mind, the dark, the separation, whatever we call it, there's so many different names, will latch onto something. It can latch onto anything. It can even latch onto the clearing process and the healing process. And when it does, we feel the length. We feel like, oh, when is this going to end? How long? I've been healing this for so long. Like it will latch onto it and will not let it go, meaning that at some level you are subconsciously elongating this process. And so allowing yourself to just, okay, that may be what's happening at some level. My mind has gotten comfortable in this, the crying space, the anger, the grief, even the crying, the emotional roller coaster. And so allowing yourself to let your body open up a little bit more so that things shift. Universe is telling me I need to make a change at my job. Okay, you're not alone. There's so many people, so many different aspects of ourselves that are actually feeling that change. Okay, so a lot of people will go through, will feel this. Okay, I need to make a change at my job. I need to make certain changes in my life. I need to make a change in my business. I need to make a change in my home, in my relationships. This is what everyone actually is going through. We are coming into consciousness of, you know what, things need to change. I need to open up to those changes. I need to start to see when that happens. So I know I've shared this before. This was, wow, 18. Well, it's funny because when I started my last job, like my last full-time job, it was very like I knew this was a temporary thing. Okay. And it's so funny because it was nice, it was great at the beginning, but after maybe a year, I was like, okay, I know that I'm not going to be here forever, so I need to start making and opening myself up to making those changes and start doing things so that I can transition. But because there was a lot of things that happened, but towards the second time that I came back to that job and I knew that I needed to make changes at my job, that's the first step. It's the first conscious step to take. Okay. The realization of this. Push to find something for my soul's growth. Okay. And then I took the opportunity to, while I was at that job, I started to see, right, what I could do, what I can learn, what I could engage in and focus on to transition out. So that's when I took a big step. I signed up for an intuition course that I could barely afford, by the way. That took me into, like a year and a half of just, training, opening up. This doesn't mean that everyone will go through it and in that time frame. No, it just means obviously everyone's journey is different. If you know that you're in that space of like, I need to make changes, I need to make a change in my job, then allowing yourself to go through go through that phase and go through that journey. For me, I knew that I needed, and this is for everyone, because everyone's going through a lot of changes. Okay. In order for all of us to know more, to receive more information, to be open to more opportunities, there has to be an exchange, meaning there's going to be a lot of things that we're going to be releasing. So, emotion, this, by the way, the emotionalness that you mentioned, feeling a lot of things, this is creating more space. This is opening up more doors for every single one of us so that we can receive more clarity, so that we can receive more guidance, so that we can receive more information, so that we can create the space for the new. And, the newness, the new things, the new realities, they can't come through because there's not enough space for them. So, what we're going through right now is a realigning of everything and a clearing of space so that that new reality, that newness has the space to anchor in us, inside of us. And that's how we start to see the physical changes occur. So right now, when you say, I'm pushed to find something for my soul's growth, focusing on what makes your soul happy, right? Focusing on that right now. And I shared this beautiful picture. Let me see if I can share it here with you guys. Let me share a picture that came through, and it was very very deep, and this feels important to share too. It says, if you don't know what to pursue in life right now, pursue yourself. Pursue becoming the healthiest, happiest, most healed, most present, most confident version of yourself. And then the right path will reveal itself. And I feel that's always going to be true. We're not used to that, and we don't know. So it is a learning process of finding yourself, of becoming more present with yourself, of rediscovering yourself, of feeling every aspect of yourself and connecting to every aspect of yourself, which, by the way, that will never end. However, we are in the transition point right now of shifting into that value system of valuing ourselves inside and out in every way all the time. But we're in that, it's like this learning curve, right? It's like we're in this process of unlearning everything, seeing those old beliefs, seeing how or when we still function from them. Excuse me. Opening up to all of these different things about ourselves. Like, we've been so focused on the external. We've been so focused on the outside. We've never taken the time or enough time to actually go inside, look at ourselves, learn more about ourselves. And so we're in that transition of learning how to, or what changes to make, learning how to, or learning to get to know ourselves more, like rediscovering ourselves more. We're all on that path right now. The biggest thing is that we're being pushed. just like you mentioned, we're being pushed right now more and more and more and more and more because our realities right now are falling apart, because it's becoming more, our emotions are becoming heavier, because our world is changing so much, because we are coming into a space where we're recognizing that we are in an uncomfortable phase. Um, and everything's coming up to the surface. So we're being pushed right now. Everything is this like a very gentle push. Sometimes it's this like thrust of like, no, you need to get in the pool now. You've got everything. You've got the goggles, you've got the, well, I'm playing with this example. You have the your jacket, right? If you feel you need one, or the your little lifesaver, whatever it is that you need, like you already have everything you need. Now it's time to jump. So we will make those little jumps here and there until we're pushed to make the big jumps, right? Until we're pushed to make a push to, put our 2 weeks notice, or um, leave the home we're in, leave the city we're in, um, leave the country. Like all of these different things are going to be like these massive quantum jumps. But you've been doing all of these little quantum jumps all along, which prepare you to those to take those big quantum leaps. But however you guys are feeling it right now, it's all normal. I shared this in my last report. One of the biggest things that I feel right now is for all of us to continuously be in this space of change. It doesn't matter what you change. What matters is that you continue to open up to change. Okay. Changing, changing your route to work, changing your, adding something different to what you eat, changing. I even changed positions in the direction that I sleep in my bed, changing the patterns, changing the normality that you're used to, because that will support you in more ways than you think. That will support you in adjusting and getting comfortable with change. And that's one of the biggest things. How can we continuously be comfortable with change? By allowing ourselves to make the changes that we know that we can. I know everyone can make those changes, right? I know that you can change the direction that you sleep in, you know. I know that you can change the route. Because by the way, these are all things that I've done, that I do. Um Changing the way that you brush your teeth, changing like making those little changes are huge. Don't underestimate any sort of change. But this is a kind of these are like the little changes that become big changes, and they prepare you for those big changes. They prepare you to take those huge leaps. So I was in that changing transitional phase for about a year and a half consciously. until I was pushed, until I knew this is it. I had to. There was no choice. You will come to a moment of I have no choice. You will come to a space where it's like, this is it. I have to jump. And there will be phases where you'll have to do that again. I had to do that in 2019. And then I did it again in 2020, and then again in 2021. And then another big shift happened in 2023. And now it's like coming into that 2-year window where it's like, okay, it's gonna come. However it comes, the biggest way to prepare for change, and obviously I shared all of these little things, is to allow. Allowing yourself to stay super present. Because when you allow yourself to stay super present in your body, change is easier and softer. It's almost because there's no separation between you and change. You actually remember that you are the one that is creating this change and you are this change. So you become one with change. And when you become one with everything, especially change, then it's different. It's not this jolt, this harshness. It's not this yes, it's still going to be like there's a death process, there's going to be a collapse, but you become one with it. And so it's not as difficult. It just is. And when everything just is, you flow. And when you flow, with this change, you become more appreciative and you're able to embrace everything that's happening, everything within that change, because you're able to see the purposes behind it. When you're able to see the purposes behind change, everything changes for you because you start to see the bigger picture. When we're in this mind, when we're in this lower self and we haven't fully transitioned or transcended it, we're very not nearsighted. We're one-sided. We can only see one side. We can only see one side of the coin, one perception, one perspective. That actually becomes heavier. It becomes harder because it becomes more challenging. So just allowing yourself to open up to that, allowing yourself to realize and see and feel where you might still be stuck in this, just looking at things from one angle. What is it that you don't want to see? What is it that you don't want to feel? What is it that you don't want to change? What is it that what what's too overwhelming about this change? What's the worst case scenario that you can think about in regards to this change? Really start opening up to these questions. Journal, open up, write them, feel deeper levels of everything that will activate within your physical body is so huge. It does take some time. Technically speaking, everything does at some level. Just depends on how much how much emotional heaviness is around the topic or the aspect that you are wanting to change. It's a process. It's part of the journey. It's this taking one step at a time. So again, everyone's different. I did feel the energies. It's funny because I felt the energies come through. I felt very similar energies come through this year. That's tied to 2020, but right now it feels more like 2019. However, there's both of these years feel the energies of both of these years, 2019 and 2020, are feeling that feel they're still coming through, but they will come through in this year and the next year. Actually, the next 2 years. Um, and so allowing yourself to start with those changes. Just start with the changes you can do that you're comfortable with. And then you'll start to feel more in alignment with the next level of changes that you need to make. So however that feels for you. I shared this earlier. Excuse me. For those that may be on Facebook and you might be on Telegram. I'm not sure. I think you might be in my Telegram group. Sometimes I share the same thing on these platforms, Telegram group and the Facebook group. Um, Sometimes I don't, so it just depends. But I also mentioned it in no, where did I mention it? I don't even remember where I mentioned this. But it feels relevant right now. When we talk about ascension, this is a a process of changing everything in every aspect of yourself and every aspect of your reality. So know that this is normal. Okay. I can probably guarantee that where you are right now and where you live or who you're around or what you do right now is not going to be the same within this next 2 to 5 year window, 2 to 3 year window. I'm saying five because sometimes we get so caught up with like time, but actually right now it's 2 to 3 year window where so much is going to continually change drastically. Okay. Right now, for you and for everyone that's having this sense of, okay, I need to make a change in my job right now, it's because it's preparing you so that you are in a deeper soul alignment with yourself and it's preparing you so that your whole reality is aligned in a different way so that the changes and the collapses that are coming don't affect you as they would have if you would have stayed within the same reality, within the same um within the same frequencies. So we have this kind of this window where we're going to continually be pushed to feel more, to release more, to change your mindsets, to let go a lot of physical things, to open up and try new things, play with new things. There's no right or wrong way to any of this. There's only your way. And finding your way is the most important thing. Everyone else will be messengers. Everyone else will send out signals or send out signs. Everything else will redirect you, and it will redirect you back to yourself so that you can continually feel this the deep you can continually connect at a deeper level with your light aspect so that you can start to feel that new directional pull. So I'm actually excited because a lot of people are starting to feel this call. A lot of us are starting to get that message. And this will continually benefit and support everything that's happening right now at a collective, at a global, at a planetary level. So you're definitely not alone. The more of us that make those changes, the more of us that are conscious about these changes, and the more of us that are start to implement those changes, the easier it's going to become because it's going to be anchored within the collective, and everyone's going to be pushed to do that, and everyone's going to start to make those changes. This is now like mass. It hit the collective back in like 2020, but now it's hitting the masses. This is huge. And we're going to continually see that more and more and more as we continue to open up, as we continue to expand, as we continue to make those changes and see, be open to the reality shifts. Every single person on this planet will be will start to embrace change a lot more. But you know, it all starts with ourselves, right? So thank you for opening up to thank you for sharing. Thank you for opening up to what you're going through, Lisa. um, there's so much I know, but it's interesting. There's so much because we are so much. Because we have so much inside. Because there the separation that we once held is no longer. So it's very fascinating right now as I'm sharing this. It's like we are so much, there's so many things that are shifting and changing. But that's because of how that's because that's been an energy inside of us all along. We just have never really been connected to it. You're welcome. Thank you so much as well. Everything will continue to shift and morph, shift and change, realign, align, collapse, rebuild, because everything inside of us is going through that process too. And so, because there's no, the level of separation is no longer what it once was, we're starting to see more of this. We're starting to become more conscious of this. We're starting to like see it. And our linear minds cannot move at the speed of light, which is why it's difficult and challenging to really grasp everything that's happening right now. The biggest thing that I share, that I say is, don't try to make sense. Don't try to understand everything. Don't try to understand. Don't try to don't try to get your linear mind to catch up to everything that's happening right now, because it never will. What catches up is our higher mind as it continues to get activated. Your higher mind, higher self, higher soul is more connected to higher states of consciousness. And so that's the part of you that will start to see more things. And the more you see from this higher mind aspect, the more things are going to start to make sense in a higher sense too. So thank you for being here. Thank you for opening up. Probably gonna wrap that up here soon. Um, for anyone for that is going through this, that would like a little more support, I'll put just there's one link that I've been sharing for anyone that might like to um, join, participate, book a session or whatnot, for whatever you feel you may need to receive more support, to receive more guidance, to clear more things. You know, there's everything that I share does is meant to support and is meant to heal and is meant to activate. But for those that may want a little bit more, there's my link. I'll share it in the description as well when I can. Or just check the comments. Sometimes I just put plays in the comments. um, but again, the biggest thing is you're not alone. We're all going through so much. This is where the next couple years are going to be there. It's a huge transition point. Okay. It's going to be a little bumpy. It's going to be a little bit rough. It's going to be a little turbulent. But that's just because it's almost like, in order to get to the higher levels, in order to make space for higher realms, there's a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of different aspects to heal. There's a lot of different aspects to integrate. And these are the aspects that are activating right now and being triggered that create the havoc, that make things a little bit harder, that make things a little bit challenging. But the biggest thing about that is that them coming up to the surface, them coming up to the surface is huge because when something comes up to the surface is because, excuse me, my throat keeps needing to be cleared. When something comes up to the surface, it means that it's ready for you to see it. And when you're ready to see it, you're way more ready to release it. So this is a huge thing for every single one of us. Can you see into the future that you know this information? Um, we have access to certain levels of information. Not everything. And especially right now, because everything is changing so much and so fast. The biggest thing that I've been getting from myself, it's like, do not attach to anything. Anything that comes through, anything you see, any information, any insights, any glimpses of the future, like, do not attach to absolutely anything. But at the same time, if it comes through, then there's definitely something for you to feel into. So the answer is yes and no. It just depends. Um, there's a lot of knowledge that comes through. There's a lot of information that is coming through right now. Um, I go generic on things for the most part because so many things are changing so fast. And what tends to happen sometimes is like the ego just latches onto the information and expects like its own perception of this, and um it builds a whole reality with this information that may not have the basis, or it may not be the highest. And so it's it's something to continually just for me feel into. And that's part of the reason why I go generic most of the time. Does that get hard knowing sometimes? The quote unquote hardest thing is how emotional, or how much emotions get triggered by that. But at the same time, I know that that's important so that I don't create anything that's not highest. Meaning, when something comes through and it's not pretty, it's not maybe what ideally we would want. A lot of emotions get triggered by that knowing. Okay. And the way that I see it is the more that I can allow myself to feel deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper levels of that emotion, of all of those emotions that got activated through this knowing that came through, the easier it is for me to accept if it does happen. And it also creates a clearing so that it does not happen if it's not highest. If that makes sense. So there's a lot of different things with that. But knowing, having more consciousness is always, always, always upon always going to be a big key, as long as you feel and deal with what's coming through as through your light and not through the ego, because the ego will distort everything, and the ego will take the information and will use it for not the highest, for the lowest. But as I've been seeing this, it's like the more that I open up, the more that I allow higher self to come through, the more I realize and I recognize that having more consciousness and seeing more and more and more and more things has the capacity to empower me. And so I take it from that route. I want to be able to feel deeper things, deeper levels of the information that I'm accessing, that's what I'm seeing. And that has the potential to empower me. So basically, it's like just allowing the information to come through and then just making sure the higher self light utilizes to its highest, while at the same time feeling the ego, feeling all the attachments, feeling all the emotional heaviness that comes through that. So, yeah, it's very interesting to navigate this, because you do start to see a lot more. You do start to get a lot more information. The biggest thing for me is, while I can, collectively speaking, it's like, okay, all of these things are happening and will continue to happen. And I do see different timelines. There's so many different timelines right now. I, what I know and what I continue to focus on is me, my, myself and my reality and my world around me. The people that are closest to me, because they're showing me a lot and they're showing so much, and they're also going through a lot of things right now. And so allowing myself to keep focused on that is super important, so that I don't get caught up in or distracted in other things. Which, it's interesting because lately it's been like higher self, highest self will be very strict sometimes. And it'll come through as this very like, no, you can't just watch anything. No, you can't distract yourself and through the endless scroll. No, you can't do this anymore. You have to become more quote unquote serious. Um, you have to become more, it's like you have to become more accountable. You have to continue to do this. This is this focusing on this and not distracting. It's so easy to distract, and it's so easy to just like go into other things that may not be supporting. Not a lot, everything does support at some level, but there's a moment where it's like there's other things that will support you more. Choosing what supports you more, choosing what supports you the highest. My family's still not awake. Okay. At some level, mine isn't, and at some level, it is. Opening yourself up to seeing where your family is. Okay. And awake is a very big term. Usually I say open because I can guarantee that every single person is way more open, or at least even just a little bit. So they may not be where you are, they may not be spiritually awake, but they're opening up. So start to kind of see that. Where is my family? How is my family opening up? And where is my family more open? Because that's the beginning of all of this. Okay. They will actually reflect back to you where you're not awake. Because when we're awake, our lower self is going to latches onto that and 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 just doesn't it actually doesn't see that there's so much more to awaken to. This is a continual awakening. This is a continual remembrance. This is not a, oh, I woke up and that's it. No, this is a continual waking up, and your family will continue to show you aspects of yourself that are not awake yet, which, by the way, we still have many, many, many. So just kind of seeing it from that lens, opening up a little bit more to that. Um, what can I see? I start to ask, what can I see more of? Okay, or where am I still not seeing? Where am I still blocking myself? Where am I still not open? Where am I inside this member of my family? Where am I this particular aspect that's being shown by X person in my family? It's a process. I'm still working through that, by the way. And the challenging, the most of the most challenging thing is when you see something, see an aspect come through that is far from what you think you are. That's one of the biggest things. When someone in your family is playing a role that you have numbed yourself from. You can't feel it inside because for whatever reason, it's too much, it's too heavy, it's too dark, it's too distorted, it's too ugly, it's too whatever, it's too hurt. And it gets so numb that we can't even feel it. And yet our family will continue to show up as that aspect so that it triggers it inside of you so that you can start to connect at a deeper level with it. So play with this. Just open yourself a little bit more to this. There's so many different levels to awakening. Yes. Welcome, Adrian. Many, 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 many. There are certain things that we wake up to, and then we start to see more. There's a revelation, there's a new realizations, there's the epiphanies, there's the aha moments, and then there's the remembrances. All of those are all of all of what this is all about, and it entails so much. So it just becomes a part of this process and becomes a part of this journey that we start to embrace a little bit more. right? And we just start to open up to more and more and more. And we start to open up more and more and more until just becomes the way that it is. And we're completely okay with it. We're actually really fascinated by it. We're like, wow, there's so much. And then we take it and we match that energy inside of us and we open up to all of these different aspects and all of these different emotions and all of these different themes and all of these different energies and frequencies inside of us. It's a whole treasure. And it's our treasure map too. And we have a gazillion of them. Every cell essentially becomes this treasure map, becomes this treasure, buried treasure. And it's not just treasure, it's going to be a lot of deep, 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 ugly stuff too. But underneath all of that is where the treasure resides. So, consciousness is key. And we all have to go through levels of being comfortable in not knowing, being comfortable. Where am I too comfortable in not knowing? Where am I too comfortable in this unconsciousness? Where am I too comfortable? I don't want to see, I don't want to hear, I don't want to feel because it's just too much. And so let it be gradual. Let it be this little by little, opening up a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more until it becomes a little more comfortable. You become a little bit more comfortable and you become a little bit more confident. Your higher self starts coming through a little bit more. And your higher self is the aspect of you that can take any information, that knows more, and that knows exactly what to do with that information. So, hope that supported. Thank you for receiving it. Thank you for being here, both of you, Lisa and Adrian. Um, I'll be back. Come through again at some short, soon, at some level. I'll keep sharing it, keep sharing with you guys what I do. Um, and yeah, there's not much more. Just allowing yourself to open, breathe, and open up to you're not alone. You're not the only one that's going through this. And in the next, by the end of the decade, everyone's going to be going through a lot of different things. Right now, we're being prepared and we're opening up all of our doors to the new and we're closing all of the old ones so that we can continue to transition and we can smooth those rough edges that I mentioned in the last video. Smoothing out those rough edges will make this experience a lot softer. Oh, thank you. Big, big, big hugs to you both. Sending you all a big wave of love, of support, of softness, of lightness, of embrace, of everything that you need. Just take it, just receive it. Beautiful. Ah, thank you as well. I'm glad. Continue to feel it, continue to receive it. Continue to remember how loved you are and how cared you are for. How cared. And how valuable and how beautiful and everything that you are. Oh, it's a beautiful way to put it. We are each other medicine. We are each other's medicines. Yes. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for this beautiful moment to connect. Thank you, everyone, as well. We'll see you next time.